presents the 61st Championships of Metro Detroit Golden Gloves, sponsored by Pepsi-Cola. Hi, everybody. I'm Chris McClure, along with Jackie Callan. Welcome to Golden Gloves Boxing from Novi High School. In this program, we're going to get a look at some veteran amateur boxers, open division boxers. And Jackie, these people have been around. They are the good ones.
This is the best of the best for the Golden Gloves. These are the guys that have been fighting for years, have put together a lot of wins, and they're ready to go. They want to go to the Nationals, they want to go to the Olympics, and this is their stepping stone. We're going to see some real toe-to-toe action.
A championship's always important, but the extra incentive of Atlanta in '96, how big is that?
Very big. That's very, very big. This is just not another Golden Gloves. This is the ultimate Golden Gloves because it's an Olympics year. So we're going to see some real good competition, especially from these big guys because they're going to be throwing some heavy leather.
The Olympic dream cannot live on beyond this evening unless they win. And we'll be back with our first bout after this. The 61st Championships of Metro Detroit Golden Gloves is being brought to you by Pepsi-Cola. We have an open division bout, 3 rounds, 3 minutes, 119-pounders. Angel Muniz from Dearborn Sports Gym, Keith Jackson his second, and Cornelius Locke out of Considine Club, Wallace Cross his second. These guys have got a lot of fights, a lot of experience. We expect more polish in this bout.
Actually, Angel's from Lincoln Park. Cornelius Locke went to Finney. They're both hoping to go on to the Olympics, so this fight's very, very important to both of them tonight.
Muniz in the all-black uniform stands 5'5" and weighs in at 118.5 pounds. He's only 18 years old and has an amateur record of 32-8 already, so a lot of experience there. The blue and white clad Cornelius Locke at 5'6", 118 is 20 years old, and he has a record of 42-6.
That's pretty impressive.
Nice numbers for both these young men. And they're in sort of the feeling out process, although Locke does score in tight there. Frank Garza, the third man in the ring, is letting them go even though they're at close quarters because it's a fight going on in there. Again, good boxers. We expect to see a lot of subtleties that we haven't seen from some of the novice folks.
Well,
for
this
obvious
is a
reasons.
stylish fight. These guys know what they're doing. See, it's a lot more scoring and a lot less brawling.
Cornelius Locke, southpaw, scores with a double jab there, a second to go. Angel Muniz. With the colors of Mexico making up his headgear. There's
Nice right that just scored.
Locke scores tiptoeing backward with something of a counter. Over the top, goes to the body, nice shot. In the area of the liver, and sometimes those can paralyze.
Locke's trying to hold him outside with that jab as much as possible.
Locke has a reach advantage. He's a little bit taller, not a great deal, but his arms seem to be longer.
They seem to be a lot longer.
Scores with the left hand coming around off the jab lead, and round 1 is concluded. We'll be back to Novi High School with round 2. Muniz and Locke in a moment. Round 2, Angel Muniz, Cornelius Locke, fairly even first round. A couple of open division veterans with a lot of victories between them. Muniz with an opening salvo, scores a couple of punches. Locke comes back at him, but Muniz a little more aggressive than he was in the first round.
Certainly is. He's trying to throw a lot more punches. Just got caught in the nose with one. Got caught again with the jab.
Well, the reach advantage is going to have to burrow his way through that somehow and get into range of Cornelius Locke. He did there until they were ordered to break by Frank Garza. Scored a couple
Good referee, Frank Garza, by the way. Excellent.
Big right hand, their left hand came across from Locke and kind of stumbled Muniz backward. Nearly into the ropes. There's another left hand right across the brow. Muniz didn't react, but it scored heavily. Nice pop to that punch. He turned it over nicely. And he's holding the back of his head. Locke is holding on to Muniz right now. He's going to get a warning for half.
No.
Oh, he's getting a stare, I'll tell you that. They had eye contact with Frank Garza, and they both knew what they were thinking about. That's a big shot by Cornelius Locke, a couple of them. So he's holding off the opening salvo. And now we're going to have it stopped as Locke is sent to the neutral corner. And we're getting the headgear fixed for Angel Muniz. So 1:55 to go in round number 2. They stop it only momentarily. We're about ready to go. Cornelius Locke starting to take a little bit of command.
Well, he's using his reach very well. He's got a reach advantage and he's using it.
Good right hand by Muniz. Spun Locke around. Those slid by, made a lot of noise, but did no damage.
It looked like Muniz scored 1 left in there. Well, he just lost that back when that one went by from Locke and connected.
You could almost sit here and play plus minus.
Right, because it's such a back and forth fight.
Couple for Locke, couple for Muniz.
Exactly.
Tough to call. Good left hand cross thrown there by Muniz.
He's a nice little boxer, Muniz. He's got nice movement.
And round 2 is concluded. Well, Muniz was racked and stumbled backward in round number 1. Locke was spun around by a good right hand from Muniz in round number 2. In between, the boxing skill of each has earned them some points. And you wonder about the balance because it's a tight fight.
To me, it still looks even, but the judges are going to have to make a decision one way or the other.
Take a look at some of the action. One of Muniz's scores a moment ago. There it is, the right hand, and look at Locke.
That was nice. Had him staggering backwards.
Spun him right around to the ropes. And he tried to move in for the kill. Good instinct there as he moved right in on his man. But Locke, cleverly enough, covers up and ties up till he gets his head cleared up.
Well, these kids are smart and crafty.
Let's go into the red corner and listen.
Well, we didn't hear much. Jackson is a good trainer, so I'm sure he gave him real good advice.
Angel Muniz, a good look at him right there. We're into round 3. Clock rolls, and so do the fighters.
They're both fresh and active for a 3rd round.
Yep. Well, they've got a lot of fights under their belt, and their legs, wind, and that sort of thing shouldn't be a problem for these fellas.
Well, they know how to pace themselves.
Exactly. I think there's a gym full of people and 5 judges looking for a tiebreaker about now. Nice right hand from Locke. Muniz comes back. I don't know. Frank was in my way. Did that hit his arm or his side?
I can't tell because from where we're sitting, like right now, they're blocked.
Yeah.
But it's such a give and take back and forth.
They crack heads. And so Garza's going to jump in and at least settle it down a little bit. Body shot. A couple of them there from Muniz. And we're getting a holding call against Locke. Warning. Referee can take points away. But
Locke scoring in there solidly.
Yep. Holding and a head-butting warning, 1 to each man. Locke scores against Muniz heavily there on as he moves in and as they move away.
Muniz needs to get really busy for the rest of this round.
Well, he worked his way under that reach, but didn't do a lot of damage there. There's a good left hand. Another one gets by, uppercut. I don't know, it might have scored. Locke hasn't popped anything home in the last 10 or 15 seconds.
And it's hard to see when they're in tight. Well, there goes Locke opening up.
Minute 23 left in round number 3. Entertaining fight. 2 skilled youngsters with a lot of experience. Headed certainly to the pros one day.
Hopefully to the Olympics first. That's their goal. Nice fight.
Excellent fight between these two, and they get a warm round of applause from an appreciative crowd. That's Angel Muniz. Cornelius Locke walking toward you now. That one's too close to call in my book.
What do you think? Want to pick one?
I don't. Well,
for the sake of argument,
they're going to have to go to some sort of a tiebreaker, and then they will hand it to the man with the microphone in a couple of seconds.
Oh, you don't want to make a prediction, huh?
Nope, nope, and nope, as a matter of fact. But I can tell you one thing, somebody's going to be muttering about this fight for a long time after we hear this man's words.
Ladies and gentlemen, our judges have come to the decision in the open class, 119 pounds. Our winner is, from the blue corner, Cornelius Locke.
Well,
Very, very close. Could have gone either way, and you could justify either decision. Cornelius Locke gets the nod, and he will go home the Golden Gloves champion. We'll be back to Novi High School in just a moment after these important messages. The next championship in the Golden Gloves at Novi High School will be in the open division, 156 pounds. Reuben Williams and Japhus Jenkins. Williams at 6 feet, 156 pounds, out of the red corner in all blue with white trim. But so is Japhus Jenkins. He's all blue with white trim, but he does have Detroit written across his back.
And the black headgear as opposed to the blue headgear.
Right, they can differentiate that way. So Williams is the blue headgear, Jenkins, black headgear.
Ooh. Slip.
A slip, so the referee, Jerry Allison, says, clean your gloves on your own shirt, son, and we'll go. And they did. Williams with a record of 18-3 in his amateur career.
He's number 9 in the country, actually, in his weight class.
And Jenkins at 30 wins and 14 losses. Obviously more losses than he'd like.
Well,
but
he
he's
went
been
to
busy.
the Nationals. He went to the Nationals last year, so he's also experienced enough to know what he has to do to win.
They've been around, but Jenkins only 20 years of age and Williams just 19. So still youngsters. Long, long time before they'll be considered age-weary fighters, certainly. They've got that on their side.
Well, I think either one of them is looking to turn pro if they don't go all the way to the Olympics.
Williams out of the Cannon Police Athletic League. Jenkins, Dearborn Sports Gym. They're turning out a bunch of nice fighters, aren't they? The Dearborn Sports Gym.
They're doing a great job.
Ron Johnson involved with this fighter, part of the Dearborn Sports Gym.
Williams is getting a lot of coaching from the crowd here. He's obviously got a lot of his friends and fans and gym mates here.
Teammates, I think, as well.
Yeah, I can hear him.
He's a good deal shorter, 5'4" to 6 feet, and that's a pronounced difference.
Well, it hasn't hurt Mike Tyson, so sometimes those short,
it doesn't
stocky
matter.
guys who hit hard.
Oh, big right hand from Jenkins as he reaches upward. Pressed the ring nicely there, didn't he?
Yes, very nice.
Stepped right across that diagonal line and left Williams nowhere to go until he fired what he wanted to fire.
Well, he's obviously been taught well.
Nice shot by Williams.
Oh, a low blow.
We're going to get a warning. We got a word from Mr. Allison, but not a warning. Good right hand by Jenkins, and he absorbs a couple across the arms and gloves. So that was a successful attack inside the reach of Reuben Williams. He steps underneath again and scores. He's fighting smart.
He's getting a warning right now for holding.
We're approaching the end of round number 1. We're in the open division, 156-pound limit, and both men hit that on the nose. Round 1 is done. We'll be right back. Good look at Reuben Williams as the whistle sounds. We're about to get into round number 2 of this open division 156-pound bout. He's the taller of the two at 6 feet, 5'4", but Jenkins shorter and reaching upward. Jackie, he had his moments in round number 1. We got a delay here. You can see in the lower right hand, there's water all over the ring in the corner.
And that's a serious problem. If a fighter slips, he can turn an ankle, he can get hurt, and it could last for months. I've seen that happen.
So they take the proper precautions. Jerry Allison, the referee, doing double duty as he's got a towel in there. And Williams and Jenkins in their neutral corners waiting. But as we were mentioning, Jenkins had some nice moments in round 1. And Williams also, scoring from up above, popped a couple of good right-hand bombs.
Well, he's obviously trying to use that reach advantage.
Leaning forward with his body a little bit. There he pops. Stick and move, stick and move. It's been heard in gyms before, hasn't it?
All the time, all the time.
That was well executed by Williams there. Now they exchange. Good left hand by Williams as the last tattoo of that exchange.
using his jab nicely.
Lateral movement.
See, he keeps putting that jab right in his face, which is what he was told to do, and he's certainly doing it.
He can move. That time straight back. He's moving. He's mixing it up. He moves laterally one time and then straight back the next. He drops the right hand in there. Jenkins scored one. I think he took 3 to get 1.
Exactly, because Williams is obviously scoring more.
Good body shot by Jenkins as he stepped inside, right to the middle of the chest. I think we got a trickle of blood from Jenkins' lower lip now.
Yeah.
That may have started in round number 1. They spent a lot of time around that area of his face between rounds, doing a little bit of repair work.
Jenkins
Nice
is
right.
waiting to load up.
He just loaded up a pretty good right, but he took a right at the end of the exchange to even things out. Yeah, he's bleeding. He's been popped in the chin a couple of times.
Sometimes it has to do with the mouthpiece that they wear also. The better the mouthpiece, the less chance of bleeding from the mouth.
Well, if it isn't fit just right, you can cut yourself from the inside
Absolutely.
very easily.
And the amateurs don't always spend the money to get the really good mouthpieces that the pros use.
Under a minute to go in round number 2. It's a good match, that's for sure.
Very even, too.
Golden Gloves title at stake in 156 pounds, open division.
Of course, when you get to the open division, they're all pretty evenly matched.
Nice skill level. They've been around. Both still entertaining an Olympic dream, and this is one of the early stepping stones in an Olympic year to that sort of possibility.
Well, the good thing is the judges aren't influenced by the crowd. They're not influenced by popularity of any particular fighter. They just go by the scoring points, and that's good.
Round 2 is done.
What do you think, Chris?
We're pretty even. I've liked Jenkins' movement underneath on a couple of occasions. He's worked the body pretty well. And also, in spite of a 7-inch deficit in height, has been able to score over the top of the right hand, a looper. And Williams, especially the first part of the second round, really smothering with his jab, controlled the fight with his jab.
I like his jab. He uses it really well.
Some of the exchanges there, you can see Williams fighting close and scoring a couple of times with the left hand. Now let's go into the blue corner. This is Jafis Jenkins and Ron Johnson.
You know what I'm saying? You know, we got to understand, like, take this round, man. You know? The knockout will come to you if you working. You got to work in. Okay? You got to work this, man. You know, you're following them. Stop trying to close the gap quick, you understand? Snatch the hook. You got to go.
I think Mr. Johnson detected what you did, Jackie. He was trying to load up.
Exactly.
Instead of the old saw that I think is credited to Sugar Ray Robinson first. You know, you just let the knockout happen. Do your
Especially
job and
in the
it'll come to
amateurs,
you.
because it's not
a knockout
an
game.
important thing. Exactly. You want to score points here. That one big punch isn't going to help you. Unless you put him to sleep permanently for the fight, it's not going to count any more than any other blow.
Right. It was a pretty good left hand inside, but he is closing the gap. He heard that part. He's got to close that gap and get into Williams. If he lets Williams fight at the range he wants, he can't even hit him. Pounds his way in again. I think Johnson, in talking to his man Jenkins, also sounded like a fellow that thought his fighter was behind.
Well, I think you tend to fire your fighter up going into the final round no matter what, because you never know what the judges are thinking and seeing.
Well, Williams just left a nice left hand on the ear of Jenkins. Jenkins fights back a little bit. Misses there. Williams a little wide-mouthed at the moment.
I was just noticing that. Seems to have slowed down quite a bit.
Chest heaving just slightly. He's had 21 amateur bouts in his career. He's still only 19 years old.
He's not quite as active now as he should be.
Yeah. He's just kind of standing there waiting for Jenkins to come after him.
He's carrying his left really low. Look at it.
And he pays for it as Jenkins scores with that left hand. Came from the other side, but both hands for Williams are low now. Williams did score with that left as he left the scene.
Big mistake.
Perhaps arm weary is Mr. Williams. But you got to have the discipline to get them back up where they need to be.
That's right, absolutely.
You just got to pull down, find the energy somewhere. He launches with the left. That scored.
The only person that does that well, or did that well, was Thomas Hearns. He could fire that from way down.
I've seen a lot of folks over the last decade or so try to emulate that and just simply couldn't do it. Didn't have the physical tools to do it and got hurt because of it.
Well, that's definitely the mistake Williams is making. His left is really, really low.
And Jenkins is scoring points.
Taking advantage of that.
Jerry Allison nearly run over by Mr. Jenkins backing up. Ooh. That went to the chest, didn't it?
Yes.
At least score.
Looked like it.
Yeah. Nothing yet. There's a jab that scores. Shooting up is Mr. Jenkins. I remind you, he is 5'4". Against 6 feet, and they both have equal weight.
Well, it's the old Mike Tyson.
And that's it. Round 3
Nice fight.
Concluded. Very entertaining fight. Tactical fight in the third. Williams, I think, perhaps was a little too laid back in terms of his pace. Maybe he couldn't do much more, but Jenkins was the aggressor. Judges do notice that as well.
I would suspect that they're going to give this one to Jenkins. Don't you think so?
I have a feeling you may be on the right track. Let's let Mr. Humayun tell us if we're right.
Ladies and gentlemen, our 1996 Open Division 156 pounds Detroit Golden Gloves champion has been chosen. He is, in the blue corner, Chafis Jenkins.
And I think he won in the third round.
He absolutely won in the third round because Williams was way too slow, did not score enough, kept his left way too low, and gave away the round, therefore gave away the fight.
So Chafis Jenkins at 156 is the champion over Reuben Williams and goes to 31-14 in his amateur career. More from Novi. Golden Gloves Boxing is next. In the open division, 178-pound men, Lonnie Redmond out of the red corner stands 6'3". He weighs 178 on the nose at 17 years of age from the Cannon Pal. Lonnie Redmond Sr. is his handler with 26 wins and 10 losses. And in the blue corner, it's Dale Crow, who stands 6'2". He also weighs 178. He's 19 from the Johnson Gym. Dave Gray is his second. This man is 145. Redmond clad in blue, Crow clad in all black.
And Dale Crow's a southpaw, so we'll have to see how Lonnie Redmond handles his southpaw stance.
Well, Redmond switched. Scores a couple there with the left hand. Crow scores down the middle.
And is using his jab.
Redmond just 17 years old with all that experience. 26 victories in 36 bouts.
And he's certainly aggressive.
He's been moving forward the entire fight so far. Throws that on the shoulder. Those don't count. It has to hit the body, the front of the body, the head.
That one got through.
Or the face. That did get through. And Crow's got to move laterally and get off the ropes. There, he moves a little bit.
He seems to be starting a little slow.
Using his right hand as a spacer. Now he throws a couple of jabs. They're wild, though, not really crisp or straight. It's kind of a mini jab that's predicating that left hand. It's not really a fully delivered jab from Dale Crow. Redmond
like
switched back.
It looks like Crow's trying to figure out what is his best game plan here.
Counter punch by Crow. I think it slid off without scoring. There's one right down the middle. A little right hand by Redmond. Bob and weave. He's more active, that's for sure.
Yeah, he is.
Leading with the right a little bit. And he's got a nice looking jab. He's just a little too far away. And Crow scores with a couple.
That's
and a
a
counter.
good one. That was nice.
Counter left hand, and he popped Redmond right across the forehead. Good shot. Referee Tom Hennessy in this bout. Gentleman from Canada. Body shot. Another shot. Redmond, a couple of scores on that flurry. Crow seems tentative still.
He looked like he was coming on there for a minute, and now he looks like he's taking a little time off again.
Holding that right hand out as a lead as round number 1 comes to a close. We'll be back with round 2 after this.
Got no shirt, got no shoes, got no coat, so got me the blues. Yeah, I got no shades.
Hey! That's because you got no Pepsi.
Now the more Pepsi you drink, the more stuff you get from the new Pepsi catalog.
Got no mansion, got no yacht.
This might be the end of the blues as we know it.
Drink a lot of Pepsi, get a lot of stuff.
For the American economy to move forward, we need to be able to rely on our own resources. Because when our industries are hard at work, so are we. Today, many oil companies have foreign ownership, but Marathon is 100% American owned and operated. So when you fill up at a Marathon station, you're helping to fuel the American economy. Marathon, an American company serving America.
Good look at Lonnie Redmond. He stands 6'3". That man's only 17 years old in the open division of the Golden Gloves here at Novi High School. I'm Chris McClure along with Jackie Callan. I think he won the first round against Dale Crow. Crow needs to be a little more aggressive, I would think, with his fight plan.
Well, he looks like he's coming out stronger this round, so that must be what his corner told him also. Get busy. You can't wait. Boxing's the kind of sport you need to be first. You have to be the first man to score.
Redmond kind of holding his hands pretty wide, almost up around his brow. There's room down the center if somebody's...
Getting a warning. Crow got a warning there.
Yeah, somebody's got a nice crisp jab, which Crow really hasn't shown us yet. They can score right straight down the middle, one would think.
Or even an uppercut up the middle would be
Yep, and a
effective.
slip.
That one got through from Crow.
Yep. He's not coming off the jab with his left at all. If he scores with it, it's a solo shot. He runs right into a Redmond jab.
See, really, everything should come off the jab. That should set up mostly all your good shots.
He just extends that arm. I think he's maybe trying to blind her.
That one got through.
Here comes the right again. The room down the middle is open. He's seen that. He's trying to exploit it.
Right. This is the best little flurry that Dale Crow
Good
showed.
shot. Right across the forehead, and it moved the headgear of Redmond around. Now he's trying to fiddle with that. I suppose that could be distracting. Again, down the middle, the left hand from the southpaw Crow scores.
And he needs to continue to do the same thing in order to win this round. He has to stay aggressive, stay right down the middle there.
There he does it again. He took one to the brow, so that's an even exchange this time. Redmond's missed a lot of shots this second round. He didn't miss so many in the first. Now he counters nicely with his left hand. Again, Redmond, the southpaw.
Crow's
Fighting the southpaw.
Right, Crow's the southpaw. Oh, mouthpiece is out.
So they'll stop the clock and fix that, I think, if Tom Hennessy notices. Yeah, he did.
Crow's yellow mouthpiece needs to get washed. They're not going to put it back in his mouth dirty.
So we stop round 2 with 48 seconds remaining for equipment problem.
Which gives a break to both fighters.
They get the full 3 minutes. Anything
sometimes
goes wrong.
that little bit of rest helps sometimes.
Standing 8 against Crow. Called by Tom Hennessy after that shot drove him to the ropes. So in terms of the length of the bout, he has 3 more of those or knockdowns and he would be automatically beaten. There's a big shot from Redmond. He acts like he wants to close with a flourish with about a half minute to go in round number 2.
Well, that's smart. That's a smart move.
Good body shot, left hand across the brow, grazes him. Now he's reaching things. Needs to stay in control, and he can take control. But if he loses his stance and loses control of his body, he'll get in trouble. Right now, he's gathered it back up. Now, one flurry there, Jackie, looked disturbing because he was way out over his toes and just flailing. But now he's settled down. And the round comes to a close. So one more round, and I don't know. Redmond may have fought back into the round. Crow owned it for about a minute and a half or 2. And then Redmond got off some good flurries that may have put him back into contention to take that round. Take a look at some of the action. A big connection coming from Redmond in a moment. There it is. Boom. Right across the cheekbone, drove him back, and here comes Tom Hennessy for the standing 8. Probably a good call.
Oh, I don't know. It didn't seem to be any harder than some of the other blows.
He certainly went back a couple of steps. Now we're into the red corner. This is Lonnie Redmond.
Clap my hand again, the last 30 seconds. Give a good clap. Last 30 seconds, give a good clap and pour it on it, all right?
Does that sound like they were planning a holding pattern until the last 30 seconds of the round?
Well, it sounds like we're talking about airplanes here in a holding pattern over Metro.
Redmond's gone to a neutral corner. Now we're ready. Round 3 is underway.
And this will be the telling round in this one.
Lonnie Redmond in the blue. He's with Cannon Police Athletic League. Dale Crow in the black from the Johnson Gym. And we get a quick warning to Crow. Redmond acted like he wanted to switch over to southpaw for a second.
That one scored from Crow.
Good one, flush to the face. The right jab from Crow. The best we've seen, I think, in the fight.
You just wonder, is it too little, too late, though?
He doesn't have a well-disciplined or well-developed jab by any means.
Well, he hesitates a bit. I think he should throw it more.
There it came. Nothing came behind it, and bingo! Redmond with another big right hand. Second standing 8 is called against Dale Crow.
7, 8.
Crow says, I'm all right. He lets him go. But that was a good shot again.
Yeah, it was a good shot. So was
There's
that.
The left. Good body shot, a couple to the body. One of those off the elbow, but Redmond definitely ready to go forward again, like he did in the first round.
They're both strong physically.
Long, lanky fellows, 6'3" and 6'2". And we're getting
a warning,
elbowing warning against Redmond. Again, he comes with the left exclusively. Dale Crow. What a different fighter he'd be if he had a jab. Huh?
That would help a lot. I think he needs to go and work on that. Well, I'm sure that when these guys watch this, they're going to see what they have to work on.
That stopped on both those stopped on the gloves. Those two got through. And here comes Crow. Nice shot to open that. Big left right across the temple of Crow. And we get a stop. And we get the third standing 8 count against Dale Crow. He doesn't look like he's ready to go down, but he's only got one of those left, and he will have lost automatically.
Well, there's less than a minute left, so.
46 seconds as the clock rolls once again. During the standing 8 counts or during a knockdown, they do stop the clock. The round clock. Big right, big left got around again. Hennessy almost looking exclusively at Crow now. Watching his eyes.
I guess he's waiting for one more of those bombs.
Yep. There's a good right hand.
That was one right there, but he seems to have let that one go. Only because there's probably 10 seconds left.
Very near the end of the bout now. Missed with the right hand did Ronnie Redmond.
Kind of a wild left there that landed.
And in the final seconds, it's going to be Redmond closing with a flourish. It's over.
Well, I think that one's fairly obvious.
Lonnie Redmond taking control certainly in the 3rd round over Dale Crow and drawing 3 standing 8 counts during the course of the event. And certainly that's not supposed to influence the judges in an enormous fashion, but it has to affect them some.
Oh, I'm sure.
And Jeff Humayan has the result. Let's go to him.
Ladies and gentlemen, our winner and moving on to the national championships for the Golden Gloves in the 178-pound open division, he is from the red corner, Lonnie Redmond.
Fairly clear, as we thought. Lonnie Redmond is the winner at 178 pounds. He drew 3 standing 8 counts with blows like that against Dale Crow. We'll be back.
In the open division with a 201-pound weight limit, a battle of 2 Kronk fighters. And Jakara Nakuru defeats Michael Jackson in 3 rounds to go on to the Nationals.
Ron Cunningham will be the referee in this open division bout of men over 201 pounds. Rick Dufty at 6'2" comes out of the red corner. He weighs 210, and Robert Kennedy at 6'3" out of the blue corner. He weighs 218.
Well, Kennedy's an interesting story because he's 29 years old. He took quite a few years off, I think about 4 or 5 years. He had chronic fatigue syndrome. Wasn't able to fight. Picked it back up about a year ago.
He's 29 years of age from the Kronk stable now. Floyd Logan is seconding him. He's just got 1 win and 1 loss in his amateur career. Dufty had 3 wins and 1 loss. They're in the open division because there simply aren't many novice folks to fight.
Not at their size and their age.
Not at their size, exactly. Big exchange right there. Dufty scored a couple. Kennedy scored a couple. They both want to put the other on his back. This is not going to be a particularly tactical fight.
Might not be pretty, but it looks like it's going to be active anyways.
Yeah. Frankly, that's okay with me, with the big men, because so often the big men don't do much. They exchange huge shots. Dufty with a big right hand staggered Kennedy.
Now this one's good because they both want it bad and they're both throwing a lot of leather and they're both scoring.
Exchanging big blows. Up around the head, there have been a couple of attempts and shots into the body, but mostly up around the chin, the nose, the chin, and the brow. Kennedy seemed to have had the predominance of the crowd on his side during the introductions, at least.
Yeah, he has a big cheering section.
Pace has dropped off a bit halfway through the round. Big goal. A couple of good shots from Dufty. Paul Susi is his second.
Kennedy just got some good ones back.
There's a big shot from Kennedy. Now Dufty unloads back.
This is
fighting
starting
against
to look like a pro heavyweight fight.
A lot of folks in the crowd yelling, "Don't wait on him." You were pointing out earlier, a big part of this game is get off first.
That's the main thing. You want to be first. it's definitely to your advantage. When you wait too long, it's never good.
Counter punch right hand by Kennedy slides across the headgear of Mr. Dufty. No score to the belly. Kennedy picks up one.
Well, they all count. It's certainly cumulative.
Most of that was stopped on the elbows. There's a jab from Dufty, gets through. But Kennedy's got a nice upper body. Both men very powerfully built, and Kennedy in particular. A good shot from Dufty.
Yeah, they seem well able to absorb the blows, don't they? I worry about that lace that's dangling down kind of low on the right boot of Kennedy, but it seems to be tied securely. It's just kind of hanging low.
Draped right on the toe is the lace. The bell goes. Dufty and Kennedy have concluded round one. We'll be back. Round number two lies just ahead. There's a look at Rick Dufty. He's 210 pounds and only 22 years of age against 29-year-old Robert Kennedy. Bit of a slugfest so far. Both men have had their moments and landed some heavy leather up around the head of the other.
The crowd's enjoying this one a lot.
A lot going on, more than you very often see with big folks.
I think that's what they like. They respect the fact that these guys are in there throwing.
Again, a good exchange. They just lean back on their heels and throw. Couple score from Dufty down the center.
Little redness on the nose there of Kennedy. Just across the bridge there, I think he took a real hard shot across the nose. See it there, a little bit of redness.
Like an abrasion, perhaps?
Exactly, a little scrape.
Headgear is useful, but you can still get popped in there.
Especially in the middle where there's nothing.
Yep. Kennedy tries to go to the ribs. There's a good shot by Dufty over the top. And Kennedy comes back.
He got it back.
Quick recovery for Kennedy. Looked like he was going to take a flurry, absorbed one big one, then fought back and got Dufty onto the ropes. Dufty gets off first.
That's because Kennedy is waiting too long. It's a little too tentative.
That one won't count from Dufty. Around behind the shoulder blade, around the side, that's not in the scoring area.
So in effect, those are wasted. Wasted energy and just wasted time.
If you can hook it into the ribs and get in front of that center line, if you will, down the side of the body, you're in good shape. But if you extend your arm too far, you're just going to...
Well, it's a waste. It's like a great shot in tennis that goes out of bounds if it's not in the right area. No good.
That's why I think
that one counts, you bet.
Sneaky right hand snuck around the defensive posture of Kennedy and got onto his chin. I figure 4 or 5 blows in that exchange for Dufty.
About a half minute left, though. So we'll see what Kennedy does with it.
We're working the second round. Dufty seems to have a bit more energy stored here.
And he's scoring more.
Whoa, big shot from Kennedy. Dufty felt it. He was delivering one of his own.
But still, in amateurs, that's still just one punch that got to him.
And the round concludes. A nice conclusion. Got the crowd on their feet and yelling a little bit. They make their way back to the corner. That's Rick Dufty. Paul Soucy is the man who is handling him, and there's Robert Kennedy. Let's go into his corner.
Let it out real slow. He's dead tired, too. Take your deep breath and let it out slow.
I think they're both
take it deep. Let it out
deep now.
Hold it. Deep breath and hold it. Okay?
That's a lot of punches for those big guys to throw.
Wrench your mouth there. Keep pressure on him. Keep the pressure on him. Now, to keep your jab popping, don't wait so long between your jabs. Don't throw your 1-2 when you're close enough, okay? All right, baby. Just what I'm gonna do it. He's dead tired, too. Take it. Can you make it all right? Yeah. All right, then, baby. Act like, give me that towel.
Okay, so obviously the story is, can you go 3 minutes? Let's take a look at some of that great action in round number 2. Rick Duffy in the white trunks. You see kind of a grazing blow, and then the big shots come. This was right just before the bell, and they really got after each other. That was perhaps where he picked up that abrasion on his nose or enhanced it. Now we're into live action in round number 3. Duffy with a big right hand. Freezes Kennedy for a second.
I wonder if that chronic fatigue syndrome that Kennedy had is starting to kick in. I wonder if that's affecting his stamina.
Could very well be, but it is his second set. Oh, big shot by Duffy. And down goes Kennedy.
I suspect that might be all for this fight, because I don't think he's getting up.
And he's going to stop it. He got to 5, and he says, that's enough, Robert. That's enough, Robert.
Yeah, he wants to continue, but that would be very unwise.
Dr. Mike Sherbin.
They need to bring a stool in. There they go.
Dr. Mike Sherbin very quickly into the ring after the referee, Ron Cunningham, said that's enough. Take a look at it. There's the left. Bam. He leaned into it, never saw it coming, and it really snapped him sideways.
Well, that was definitely the power punch of the night.
Absolutely. The punch of the night goes to Rick Duffy at 6'2", 210. His 4th amateur victory against a single defeat, fighting out of the Motown Gym. That was a stunning conclusion to what was a give and take and fairly even fight.
Well, it was, but I definitely think Duffy looked the freshest of the two and seemed to be coming on as it continued.
So that's the way it ends, with a knockout. Very unusual in the amateur ranks, but Duffy has accomplished it. So Robert Kennedy has gathered his senses and convened at the center of the ring. Let's go to our ring announcer, Jeff Humayan, for the official time.
Ladies and gentlemen, an exciting finish to our bouts tonight. A super heavyweight knockout. Our winner in the red corner from the Motown Boxing Club, Rick Duffy.
So Rick Duffy has defeated Robert Kennedy in stunning style to close out the show.
Yeah, that was picture perfect. Right on the chin.
Not much doubt at all. And Duffy heads to the Nationals as what they call the super heavyweight champion of Detroit in the open class. Robert Kennedy will move on from here and see if he can restart a boxing career that was stalled by some illness and now stalled by a knockout punch. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Novi, everybody. I'm Chris McClure along with Jackie Callan. Jackie, it's always fun to watch the open amateurs. They're well schooled. They know what they're doing.
I love these big guys anyways. You know, every punch counts and they throw such heavy leather. And it was pretty good to see which guys are going to go on to the Nationals and see if any of them will end up in the Olympics this summer. Be fun to watch.
Certainly, we wish them all well as they pursue that Olympic dream. And that's going to wrap it up. On behalf of Jackie, I'm Chris McClure. Thanks for joining us for this evening of boxing, Golden Glove style. This has been the 61st Championships of Metro Detroit Golden Gloves, sponsored by Pepsi-Cola. So long, everybody.
Bye-bye.